After setting up in the caravan park, we decided to visit the National Wool Museum, which is in the centre of Geelong City. While we drive there, let me tell you a bit about the city of Geelong. The city began back in 1836 with some 3 squatters and grew from there rather quickly. It was gazetted as a town in 1838, and by 1841 the first wool began to flow from Geelong to Melbourne and then onwards to England. And then in the 1850s the gold rush caused Geelong to grow rapidly again. In order to diversify from the gold rush, a wool manufacturing industry began in the late 1850s. During the 1860s, it became the largest manufacturing centre in Australia with wool mills, rope works and paper mills. Now the name Geelong comes from the local Aboriginal language and is thought to mean a tongue of land or a peninsula. Today the city is the second largest city in the state of Victoria and is still growing. It's no surprise that the National Wool Museum is located here due to the rich history of wool processing and exports. The information centre is actually located in the Denys Lascelles wool store, which was built back in 1872. You can enter the information centre but have to pay to go into the wool museum itself. It is well worth it even if you're not a wool tragic fanatic. I used the GoPro camera to take some snapshots with commentary, and I left that commentary in there in order to give you an idea of what the museum is about. So I've added that to the end of the driving video here. I must say I enjoyed this a lot, as I'm a bit of a tragic when it comes to early machines and some of the innovative programming that was done in order to semi-automate the weaving of materials, especially some of the high quality Axminster carpets, as you will see in the video. So enjoy! This details the origin of Denny's wool store. It was built in 1872, about the same time they brought in the Australian Telegraph Network. So it was one of the first wool brokers. Lots of wool everywhere. Fine wool. That's a wool sample book from 1936. Here at the top floor you have the kids corner where you can colour in the museum or variety of different things. They supply pens and tools for the kids, so not a bad place to bring the kids if you want to do colouring. I can see they've coloured in here some pretty impressive. Yep. This is an auctioning desk, probably for auctioning wool, I guess. Now why they would say silence, I don't know, but maybe because they had to hear the auction going on. Pretty impressive reception desk. But there's another kids corner here if they don't want to do drawing. They can do Lego. Just a few Lego pieces here. And these are some of the things they can do with Lego.
Is the award-winning exhibition that tells the Australian wool story through traditional language, environmental practice, objects from the collection.
And here's a loom. Industrial scale loom. Not something you would put into your hobby room, I guess.
Garage.
You need a big garage. I think this is the upper level of it. There would be a lower level as well. And here's the program to do the weaving. Program is based on cards full of holes. So if you go further down, you can see it better here. This is called the jacquard system. So uses the holes to decide which colour and where. Well, let's punch into the factory and start working on producing garments from wool. So, going from fleece to fabric. There's a lot of machinery here. I guess today's technology is a lot simpler. I'm not even going to try to describe all the different machines here, but they all serve a purpose. When you get to industrial scale manufacturing, they were quite innovative in the day and made machines to make things cheaper to manufacture. This is a phenomenal amount of machinery. Some of them small, some of them big. Yes, a lot of men and women laboured in these factories, operating all the different machinery. Well, you can't work wool without having wool, so this section here talks about the farming of sheep and how they are raised, and the wool is created on the sheep, about labour being withdrawn in strikes. I think it was actually shearers that formed the original Labour movement, which is one of the longest living political parties in Australia. Yeah, plenty of wool. And here's the shearing machinery. It's hard work doing shearing. I would not want to do it. I have done it with hand clippers, yeah, like these. Basically, I was terrified of hurting the sheep, so it was not something I was very diligent or good at.
Life-giving volcanic matter beneath the surface, supported in abundance of flora.
This is about the indigenous people living in this area. And then we continue down to the next floor. Here's the loom. Talk about industrial scale, that's pretty impressive. Well, this is a carpet this machine is weaving. Let's show you a bit better what it looks like. It's obviously a bit complicated pattern, thus the multitude of cars required to make it, and all those reels of strings in different colors. That's pretty impressive. As you can read here, this loom is an Axminster gripper carpet loom. brought into Australia in 1910, and one of the few still in operation, and it was decommissioned in 1975, but it's still functional, and it can still produce a high quality Axminster carpet. And when you look at the thing, and the complexity behind it, that definitely tells you how complicated this thing is. It's definitely very complex. A mechanically controlled machine. And if you thought that with your 64 cards here, that's incorrect. There's lots more. Must be a couple of hundred, as you can see in the program. Now, as you can see, the industrial loom has all these punch cards to create the pattern, and here is the machine that makes those punch cards. And here is a sample. It's thickish piece of paper or cardboard, and these are very finely cut holes which are being used, and that's where the cutting takes place. So you can think of this as the program generation machine. Somebody would have designed the pattern, and they would have then iterated where the holes are supposed to be, and somebody here creates the cards. And here's the carpet. You can have it as long as you like and as wide as you like.